Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome along to Sportsbet TV. Paul Alster here with you once again, and looking forward to some really fantastic racing in Britain and Ireland on Saturday the 21st of November. Just a quick word about last week's selections. I'm afraid they didn't do very well. We had a bit of a rum-do. Second week running, it's been a quiet weekend for us on the punting front. I noticed a comment about the fact that the horses hadn't managed to even hit the frame. Well, I just want to make a point that on this tipping service, unlike many others, we're not looking to tip you favourites that anybody can look at and pick up a morning paper or look on a website and pick the favourite and stick your money on and hope for the best. That's easy to do. Any tipster can do that. What I try to do here, and what I've been trying to do for the last 35 years or so and had some success with it, is to find horses at decent prices. And because of that, sometimes they just don't do the business. They just don't run the races. They are a big price in many instances because the form doesn't always jump out, obviously, as recommending them. So on our service, we're going for the bigger priced runners, but when they do hit, of course, then you really are quids in. For those that want a shorty, I think Lost in Translation will probably win the Betfair Chase at 3 o'clock on Saturday, but it's a 5 to 4 chance and you can probably pick it yourself. But we'll see. And as we know, so many of the shorties get beat, so it's a quick way to the poorhouse really, backing favourites. Anyway, on to this week's, all of which are very decent prices, and we start off at Haycock in the 1:15. Now this is a 2 3/4 mile graduation chase. There are 6 runners and it really is an interesting race. Master Tommy Tucker, I'm sure, will be a popular choice. He's an interesting horse with ability, but he does have a tendency to keep falling over. He managed to beat one rival in a match race last time. I'm just a bit concerned that on these very testing fences at Haycock he might be found out. He'll be favourite. Dashel Drasher, that's an interesting runner for Jeremy Scott, and also Good Boy Bobby, a winner at Bangor last time out. But for me, the interesting one here is Alan King's runner, DEYRANN du CARJAC, trained by Alan King, and the mount of Tom Cannon. Now, this horse has gone well fresh in the past, and this is his first run of the season. Last season, he beat the decent Pim. That was a good effort. And then he went on to run third in 2 Grade 2s, one of them at Newbury against the very, very smart Champ, and also at Cheltenham on New Year's Day against the very useful Midnight Shadow. So this is a decent horse. He was disappointing indeed. I tipped him at the Cheltenham Festival in the Grade 3 handicap chase. He only finished, I think, 17th, but it turned out he came back lame, so he had a perfectly reasonable excuse. Now, the interesting thing here is that quite a few firms are going around the 7 to 1 mark, 15 to 2, and so I think they offer, as of Friday late morning when this bulletin is recorded, the offer of Bet365 of 9 to 1. I think that's good value, and I don't think he'll go off 9 to 1. And I think he'll run his race. I think he could go very close indeed. So that is DEYRANN du CARJAC for Alan King and Tom Cannon. First selection on Saturday for us. And that is in the 1:15 race at Haycock. And then we're going to cross to Ireland. Some of you may know that I regularly broadcast on Irish racing. I keep quite an eye on how things are going over there on a day-to-day basis. And Naas stage a very good card on Saturday afternoon. And the 1:37 race there is the Brown Lad Handicap Hurdle, named after a great Irish trained racehorse of, I think he was way back in the 70s. It's over 2.5 miles, and this is a €40,000 contest. It's a race that, by the looks of it, top owner JP McManus is quite keen to get his maulers on, because he's got 4 runners in this. Now, interestingly, this race hasn't been run since 2017, and in both 2016 and 2017, it was won by horses trained by Thomas Mullins. Now, Thomas Mullins is a very good trainer from the famous Mullins family, the dynasty of which Willie Mullins is very much the head. But he's a fine trainer in his own right, and David Mullins is going to ride the horse that we fancy here, because I think he's laid one out along the same lines of the winners of the last 2 renewals that he trained in 2016 and in 2017. Now, the name of the horse is BARNAVUDAUN. BARNAVUDAUN, trained by Thomas Mullins, ridden by David Mullins. He was a winner at Downpatrick last season of a 2 mile 3 furlong maiden hurdle in March last season. Now he's very unexposed, he's had very little racing. He ran at Gowran Park in early October. He was perfectly respectable fourth there of 13, and then last time out he ran in a €75,000 contest at Punchestown and was a very good second of 16 in what was a pretty hot race. Now he's gone up £6 for that, but he's still rated only 120, and my feeling is this horse could easily be ahead of the handicapper, and to be honest, I think he might have been laid out for this race, and as I've mentioned, Thomas Mullins knows how to win it, and there is one standout price. Only one firm has gone up early on this race. It might turn out that he goes bigger, but for me the offer of 12 to 1 each way from William Hills for 5 places, note, not 4, 5 places. I think that's very interesting. 12 to 1 each way, Barnavudauun. As I say, they're the only firm betting at the time of recording, so there may be one or two who dare to go bigger, and if they do, then obviously jump in and fill your boots. The third and final selection is at Haycock. Now this is the 150, a 2 mile 3 furlong handicap hurdle. Once again 17 runners, so it is not an easy race in which to tip. It is wide open, and as they say, you can make out a case for many. Indeed, I've looked at it and there were 7 or 8 that I put on the short list. But it's a race that over the years, although there's been a lot of runners, most of the winners have been single figure odds, and that has caught my eye. One horse in particular for me is very worth a close look, and his name is UMBRIGADO. UMBRIGADO, trained by David Pipe, and he's the mount of Fergus Gillard, who's the stable conditional jockey. Now, a very lightly raced horse. He was 5th of 17, first time out last season, and it was on this card. They ran him in the 3 miler and there was money around for him. There was a whisper that he was going to run well. He did run well. He was 5th of 17, maybe didn't quite get home over the 3 miles. He went on to be 6th in the very valuable £150,000 Betfair Trophy at Ascot last December, and only had 1 run after that one in the mid-division at Cheltenham, where he was 11th, and I'm not sure he was suited by that very undulating up and down Cheltenham course. Now, he's down to a marker now of 139, and Fergus Gillard, because he's a conditional, he's still able to claim £7. So effectively, he's running now off 132, and he's gone well first time out last season. He's with a brilliant trainer of getting horses ready after a break, and the odds that appeal to me here are the 17 to 2 that are offered each way, 8.5 to 1 in old money, with William Hill and Unibet. 5 places once again are on offer, and I think that is a pretty good bet, and I think he's a very interesting contender, UMBRIGADO, and like BARNAVUDAUN over at Naas just a few minutes earlier, I think he's been laid out for this race, which is the Haycock 150. That is UMBRIGADO. So those are our 3 selections, all decent prices for you coming up on Saturday. I wish you the very best of luck. As I say, I think Lost in Translation might just defend his crown at 5 to 4 in the Betfair Chase, but I can't be realistically tipping a horse that price. Our 3 are decent prices. Let's hope they run well. Have a great weekend. I look forward to your company next week. Bye bye for now. Join us again next time at Sportsbet TV.